Okay, sorry, YouTube Nation. I forgot to give the notes here at the front, but we learned the definitions of sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, cotangent in terms of a terminal point x, y, and a radius of r, and a angle of theta. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to find exact values using special right triangles to calculate the exact values of these trigonometric functions. So we have the sine of pi over 3. That's the question. What is the sine of pi over 3? Sine is an operation. It's an operation, kind of like you'd square root something. So square root of 4, you'd tell me, well, that's 2. Square root of 81, you'd say, well, that's 9. Well, what's the sine of pi over 3? It's an operation. You're going to give me an output. Well, we can do that. All we have to do is we have to construct a circle with a triangle. What is pi over 3 in degrees? 60. So you have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Hopefully, this is something that you can now do quickly after our previous few days. The length of the radius is always 1. Shortest length is half. What's the other side? Root of 3 over 2. So the terminal point becomes 1/2 root of 3 over 2. You did a whole assignment on finding terminal points, correct? So now, if I ask you the sine of pi over 3, it's simply the y value of the terminal point, which is root of 3 over 2. That's the exact value. I'm going to take out my calculator. Hey, go away. Go away. How do I get rid of this now? Somebody help me out. Help me out, folks. There we go. Okay, all right. Yay. Okay, I'm going to take out my calculator. Moment of confusion. That's Mount Meru. I highly encourage you, if you never watched a documentary on Meru, watch it. A few naughty words in there, but well worth your time. It might be. I saw it on Amazon Prime. It's about trying to climb a mountain, okay, and it's pretty good. So I'm going to go into my mode, and I'm in degrees, and I'm going to press the sine of 60. And on your test, if you write an answer 0.866, I will give you 0 points on the test for that. Do you understand that? Because I can have my 8-year-old daughter, Tenley, learn how to type in sine of 60 on a calculator, and she can write that down. But she does not understand how to do this, which is to find the appropriate triangle, find the terminal point, and give the exact value. Furthermore, square root of 3 over 2 is exact. This is approximate. So on the test, you must do those pieces. You have a question, sir? That's because you did something wrong, and I will show you. Okay? First of all, watch this. If I take the square root of 3 and I divide it by 2, it is the exact same value. But if I press the sine of 61, I don't know what the sine of 61 is. That's much more complicated. There's special values that we seem to know and ones that we don't. If they make 30, 60, 90 triangles or 45, 45, 90 triangles, then we seem to know the values. And you're going to compute those today. Now, here's what my good friend Logan did. In his mode, he was probably working in radians. And so if he pressed sine of 60, that would be the sine of 60 radians. Okay? He doesn't want 60 radians. He wants pi over 3 radians. If he selected pi over 3, he would come up with that 0.866. So your calculator understands which mode you're working in. Do you understand that? You need to know how to change it and when to change it. If you're going to use a radian, you need to be in radians. If you're going to use a degree, you need to use degrees. If you want to check your answers on the test, sure, fine, go ahead. But you must make sure that you produce the triangle, the terminal point, and all those other pieces. Are we good? All right, next one, letter B. Cosine of negative 5 pi, we're going to do over 6 instead of over 3. We're going to do over 6, okay? Negative 5 pi over 6. Can somebody convert negative 5 pi over 6 into degrees for me? Multiply by 180, divide by pi. You can see that the pi's cancel. 180 over 6 is 30 times negative 5. Negative 150 degrees. So if I go negative 150 That's going to leave me with what angle left over between the x-axis and the terminal side? What's the measure of the angle left over? 30? So I have another special triangle of 30, 60, 90. Cool. What's that terminal point? Let's see, this is 1. The short side is a half. And the longer side is the root of 3 over 2. So therefore, the coordinate is negative root of 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Is it cosine the x value or the y value? The x value. So the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6 is equal to negative root of 3 over 2. What do you think about that? Not too bad? Let's do one more, and then we'll get to our worksheet. 7 pi over 4. How many degrees is that? You memorized all these, right? You went home over the weekend. You just studied. 315. What kind of special right triangle does it make then? 45, 45, 90. Mishka's on the ball today. She had her Wheaties for breakfast. So what's the terminal point? This is the length of 1. To get to this side, we divide by the root of 2. And you get the root of 2 over 2. Root of 2 over 2. So the terminal point is root of 2 over 2, negative root of 2 over 2. Good? So how do I produce tangent? Y over x. So if I take the y value and divide by the x value, what are you going to get? Negative 1. Okay, here we go. We have this worksheet. We want to find the exact values of sine, cosine, and tangent, or whatever they ask within these problems. This may look like a lot. We're going to show how you can do it quickly. Okay, I would like you guys to develop the skill to where you can do it quickly. Pi over 6, converted to degrees. 30. So I got a 30, 60, 90. Hopefully it comes pretty quickly to you what the terminal point is. What's the terminal point? Root of 3 over 2, 1/2. So sine is which value? So the sine is the root of 3 over 2. What's cosine? 1/2. How do I compute tangent? I take y divided by x. Oh, my bad. Thank you. I listened to Willie. There you go. Silly guy. All right. So sine is the y value, so 1/2. Cosine is the x value, root of 3 over 2. My bad. And tangent is then going to be the y value, 1/2, divided by the x value, root of 3 over 2. Multiply by the reciprocal, and we get 2 over the root of 3. What happens? 2's cancel. You get 1 over the root of 3. So you got root of 3 over 3. Do you guys remember, like, you used to get a worksheet in math class where it said simplify 4 over the root of 3, and you would do problems like that, right? Yeah, and now we expect that you do it in a half second, right? So fortunately, you're really intelligent. Just think about how difficult this would be if you weren't really intelligent. We all good with number 1? All right, let's do number 4. Watch how quick number 4 is. Pi over 2. How many degrees? 90. What's the terminal point? 0, 1. 0, 1 is the terminal point. What's sine? 1. What's cosine? What's tangent? Undefined. Yes. Wow. So, we talked about tangent being the slope. There are 4 kinds of slope: positive, negative, 0, and undefined, right? So if you notice, you make a 90-degree angle straight up and down, slope undefined. Connection. Got it? Flip it over. How about number 10, 5 pi over 4? How many degrees is that? Yeah, it's something with the 45s. 225 puts us in the 3rd quadrant. So what's the terminal point there?
We know it's 45, 45, and the radius is 1, so it's 2, right?
So a terminal point is negative root of 2 over 2, negative root of 2 over 2. Hopefully you're able to come up with those values pretty quickly now. You're going to continue using them the rest of the year. So sine is, cosine is negative root of 2 over 2 as well. Tangent is 1. And Riker noticed this. He said, well, Mr. Gantz, you could just look at the picture and understand that the slope is 1. He's absolutely right. But I still want you to produce a terminal point and everything. So he was in a different class. He has to change when he saw some of the people in the class. Yeah. 4th hour rocks. I'm just joking. I'm just trying to. 4th hour developed a complex last year that they must have been the greatest class in the history of Alberta High School. And I think, yeah, no, they didn't let me develop an opinion. They just developed it themselves. First hour, I'd say something about 1st hour, but they never talk. So I was like, I didn't know how to. Oh goodness, that is true. All right, last problem. Negative pi over 3. How many degrees? 60. Negative 60. So this is 1/2. This is root of 3 over 2. So what's our terminal point? 1/2 negative root of 3 over 2. I don't know. I agree. I didn't anticipate I would be losing a math teacher in the process and inheriting new classes. So trust me, I'm not sitting during my prep time on Amazon or Facebook. Yeah. No, nobody asked you to talk. I don't know why you shoot your mouth off. You're darn right. Maya is naughty. There you go. You go ahead. You use it in court. Judge will sentence you to detention. What? Well, no, now she talks and she's in 5th hour because all of a sudden she woke up because she's sitting across from Motormouth over here. All right. I got to figure out secant now. Oh, no. How do we do secant? Secant is the reciprocal of what? So it's the reciprocal of cosine, right? What would the cosine value be? X, which is 1/2. So secant is going to be reciprocal, which is 2. Sine is the y value, so just negative root of 3 over 2. How do I determine cotangent? X over y. So I take my x value, which is 1/2, I divide by the y value, which is negative root of 3 over 2. Times by 2 over negative root of 3. Those cancel. Negative root of 3 over 3. What do you think? Good? You got the rest of the hour? Knock this out.